Hey everyone, Beth Barani here with How to Write the Future podcast. This is a podcast where I offer tips for writers, specifically science fiction and fantasy writers, but all writers. And it's also a podcast for anyone who wants to create positive, optimistic futures. Because I believe when you imagine what is possible, you help make it. So this week, I'm going to talk about critique groups. So this critique group that starts really soon, September 8th, is called Next Step Writers Group, and it's not an ordinary writers group of peers. It's actually going to be moderated and led by Julia. So Julia is a science fiction writer, also a literary writer, and instructional designer. And she came to me because she wanted to have a critique group, and she is really passionate about having regular structured writing and editing practice. And this critique group is in support of that. It's for writers who really want to be publication focused, all moving towards publication, which is awesome. And I don't know about you, but I have learned a tremendous amount by being in critique groups. If you're stalled out on your writing, one of the biggest things I see in over 20 years of helping writers is that often writers are afraid to share their work for feedback. And getting feedback from an editor can be really scary. But getting feedback from your peers can be a lot easier, especially if they're in a similar stage as you are. Also, peer critique groups work really well when they have constructive, compassionate feedback. That's really important. You want to be around other writers who can point out what isn't working in your writing and what is working in your writing. But they are not making it personal. They're not saying you this and you did this wrong. No, they're just saying, oh, I like it when you did this with your character, but over here I was confused. What about this or what about that? Also, critique groups are great when you're with dedicated, committed writers. I highly recommend finding other writers who are dedicated and committed, and that's what we're offering in this group. Also, this group is for genre fiction and literary writers. You could be writing any kind of science fiction or fantasy, any kind of speculative fiction, romance, mystery. If you're interested in writing stories, this group is for you. It is for people writing novelists or short stories, because both those forms Julia can help you with. We also believe here that writing is a learned skill. If you want to learn how to write, you can. When I started out as a fiction writer, I didn't know how to be a fiction writer. I learned by doing. So both Julia and I come from that school of thought where we learn by doing. So the best way to learn how to be a better writer is to write, get feedback, write some more, get feedback, and learn how to integrate the feedback. And lastly, a good critique group believes that no one is a hopeless case. You can continually learn and you continually improve. It can feel devastating to receive feedback, but then you can pick yourself off the floor and go, how could I incorporate that feedback? Or do I even want to incorporate that feedback? So both Julia and I know that persistence is the name of the game. Now, Julia is going to lead this workshop and I'm hosting it. This critique group is going to be for the fall and winter months of 2025. It's going to go from the beginning of September into mid-December, and it is by application only. So you can see the link in the show notes. I'll also put it up on the screen, and you can apply. There are some requirements because we want to make sure that you are a good fit and we're a good fit for you. And we do ask you to submit a piece of writing for this to be considered. Basically, you're going to meet twice monthly for 4 months, and there is a cost. So be sure that works for you. And we're charging $250 for this, which is comparable to what other groups charge. So if you have any questions about it, let me know. And if you are curious about all the details, be sure to check out the website link that we have here in the show notes. All the dates are on the page and all the requirements and how to apply and everything. There is a deadline for application. And if you are listening to this recording after the deadline has passed, be sure to sign up for our newsletter list because you will be able to hear about the next one. We plan to run them hopefully once or twice a year. All right, this is a special episode of How to Write the Future because I want to get it out before the deadline for this critique group, which is August 22nd. All right, write long and prosper.